Dropping out of university was the best thing I've ever done, but it was also the hardest thing I've ever done. The work I put in to escape that path was like nothing I've ever done in my entire life. Literally for a few months straight, if I wasn't in my room grinding, editing, filming, doing whatever for my products, then I was only either eating, going to the bathroom, going to school, or filming that I couldn't do inside my room. At that time, I also was getting like 5 hours of sleep every single day consistently. It was very unhealthy, but kind of necessary in order for me to get out and escape that life. Now it's a few months after I dropped out, and life has not been the same since. Like, I'm in fucking Paraguay right now. Do you see this view? But I know a lot of you clicked on this video because you guys are going through a similar path, a similar situation where you're still in high school, or maybe you already are in college, university, and you're trying to get out. You're trying to explain to your parents why this path is better for you and why you need to go down this path instead of the typical 9-to-5 university, paying off college debt for generations and all that. So yeah, let me take you back to when this idea first popped into my mind. So this idea really came to me in the summer between my junior year and my senior year. And by the way, at this time, all this e-com online business shit was super new to me. I actually started out at first making a YouTube channel and filming some videos for that. I got up to like 600 subs, and then I kind of started getting more into drop shipping instead, and I figured drop shipping was the way so that I can make money a lot faster than through my YouTube channel. Both are definitely valuable, but drop shipping was going to get me there so much faster. It was going to make me money way faster than my YouTube channel. So at this time, I kind of had the realization that university was the stupid path to go down. It just made no sense. I would have to go to university for at least 4 years, and during this time my parents had to pay off maybe like $80,000 if I went to a good college. I was kind of diving deep into it. I realized everything I've learned in school up until this point was kind of just molding me into a worker and not a thinker. Every single class is designed to keep you working and not actually ever thinking about what you're actually doing, what you're going to be doing in like 10 years, and actually learning how to use money and what money is for and all that finance, all that shit. And then I got into thinking, all right, who created the education system was Rockefeller, and he literally quoted, I don't know the exact quote, but he said something like, I want a generation of workers, not thinkers, some shit like that. And you really don't have to hyper-analyze about this whole education system. Honestly, if you just take a step back, get rid of your ego, and just look at what it is, then you'll realize it's just stupid. It's just a lie. Everything is a lie, and you're just gonna end up working for these people that created the system instead of actually achieving what you were meant to achieve. But yeah, at this time, during the summer, I had absolutely no money. I considered getting a job. I filled out a bunch of applications, and I went around to places like Five Guys, Burger King, trying to get a fucking job, like literally doing anything just so I can have a little spending money for these e-com, because I had no clue how much this was going to cost me. And my parents are starting to get worried because I've never actually had a job in my life. I've never really made any money doing anything in my entire life. And what am I? I'm 17 years old at that point. So yeah, it's pretty bad. The only work I really ever had was doing yard work for my dad, which I did make money through that, but it's family money, so are we really going to count that? And then I also did one day of being a busser, just cleaning dishes and shit. But yeah, bro, like, I just knew that life was not for me. I deadass just felt like a slave, and it's not fun. You don't want to live like that for the rest of your life, because that's where you're going to end up doing for the rest of your life. So at the time before Anthony actually got me into dropshipping, I was just making terrible YouTube videos, getting no views. I had one video that got me like 10K views that's still on this channel if you'll see it there. I was just trying to make as much self-improvement content as I could with what little skill I had, and I just realized this was getting me nowhere. So I did my research into organic dropshipping, got started, realized that it really doesn't even take that much money. You just have to order the product and film for it, and then money just comes out of fucking thin air. So it's like literally the perfect business model for anyone just starting up. I started going to my local park, going on the turf and the grass fields, just filming for this athlete's bag product. This was the first product I ever ran. It actually ended up going very bad. I made some money with it for my first product, which is very impressive, to be honest. I made like around $500 in sales for my first product. I went viral with it. So, hey, that's impressive. If you're in the space, you know that's impressive. This product ended with me making a very, very bad controversy in which the Secret Service actually came to my house because it was at the time that Donald Trump was almost assassinated. And for some reason, my dumbass thought maybe I should make a controversy about that. Yeah, it didn't go so well. But I'll go deeper with that at another time. Then I started running the hydro balloons, which were these water balloons that are reusable. You probably know what I'm talking about. CyberSketch, which was a notebook that you can write on and it can show up on your phone, so it's perfect for like college kids taking notes and whatnot. That I also made about $500 from. So I was doing decent. Like those 3 products I probably ran for like 2 months, made like $1,000 in sales, which isn't extraordinary, but I mean, for starting off, that's not terrible. But I realized I really needed to pick up the speed if I wanted to escape college and really convince my parents that university was not the way. And I needed to make it known to them that this path could actually work. Ecom actually fucking works, and I needed to prove it to them. Because at that time, I couldn't even believe it myself. I just felt delusional, fucking picking up the camera, recording every little thing I could, and, every single video wouldn't do shit. It would just stay at, like, under 1,000 views for most of the time, and it was really frustrating. And at this time, the conversations I had with my parents were, oh my god, they were scary, to say the least. They were very, very frustrating because they saw what I was doing. I told them I didn't want to get a job because I believed in this, and, it wasn't making any money, so how could I prove to them that this actually worked, We would always have conversations about my future, what I was actually going to university for in the first place. I had no fucking clue. At first, I wanted to be like an architect, and then since getting into this business stuff, they just kind of assumed I wanted to go for like marketing or something. We would have these like sit-down conversations, especially with my dad. My dad was very against all of this. And we just sit down and talk about where I would end up going with this if it didn't work out. You're taking a huge risk by not going to college and living a normal 9-to-5 life. All right, I had to take it inside because it just started fucking pouring on me. Yeah, at this time, I always described it to myself as like a split personality. Like, with my friends and people who I really trusted, I would tell them my aspirations and what I actually wanted to do with my life. And then on the other hand, with my family, with my extended family, with whoever had a good relationship with my parents, I always told them the lie that I wanted to go to college for like business or whatever, just to keep my family happy, because I know that I would look crazy to my family, and I really didn't want to upset them if I couldn't do anything about it. Like, if I really needed to move out of my house because my parents were so against drop shipping or just e-commerce in general, not going to college, then I was like severely fucked. Like, I would be on the street. I don't think my parents would ever do that, but they would definitely try and persuade me big time. And just telling small-minded people about big ideas, you're never going to win with that, But I stopped filming for YouTube. I really tried to get into dropshipping and spend all my energy and time into dropshipping because I knew this was the way I was going to make money and escape this life. So a bunch of products later, it's the summer now. I graduated high school for my senior year. Still have not made enough money. I probably have only made around like $6,000 in sales. And most of that was through being a creator, which means I made a lot less in profit. So then again, summer, grinded my fucking ass off, stayed inside all day, filming, editing, trying to find new products, trying to make anything work. And I only ended up making around $3,000 that summer. Yeah, So I had to go to university. I committed to this local community college that was very cheap, that I didn't have to spend too much energy on because I knew I still wanted to go deeper into this e-commerce entrepreneurial life. I missed like half my classes. I don't know how I went through with my first semester and got credits for that because I literally skipped more classes than I made. But the classes that I did make, I would literally just be on my laptop editing the entire class, doing my burner, scrolling, trying to find new products. I never paid attention in class. Even in the classes where you don't need a laptop, I pulled out my laptop, kept it under my desk while I was just working. And these classes were small. The teachers definitely saw what I was doing, but I still got away with it. If they told me I had to put it away, I would just leave and I would still get attendance for that. I didn't know one professor's name the entire time I went there, which is crazy. I only knew them by their faces. But yeah, I was just trying to make anything work. Like literally if I didn't even go viral with a product, I would still make stores for every single product because I just needed this to work out. Any amount of money, any amount of sales would do. Even if I wasn't going viral, I needed as many sales as I could. And then came October 30th. This was the day that really changed everything. Up until this point, I actually made some money, made something work while in these classes, grinding every fucking day. I made around $30,000 in the time I was in college in sales. And on this day, October 30th, I sat my parents down again. We had a little conversation. I literally made like a little presentation on my laptop just to show them how much I've made these last 3 months. And I really went deep into the truth. I told them everything. I told them how I really felt about college and e-commerce business, what I actually wanted to do, and how I felt during these times when, we had these conversations about going to college and getting a job and all of that. And I showed them the money. I showed them how much I made. I even did my research. Like I even compared how much the average 18-year-old was making at that time. I even went as far as to see how much the average 25-year-old was making at the time in the same place too in New York. And I showed them that even at 18, I was making more than these 25-year-olds in New York at the same time. And I wouldn't even have to go to college for any of this. I could save them so much money. I could save myself so much time and so much frustration having to go to college every day. And that kind of shocked them. They were so surprised with all this. They had no idea that I was so passionate about this. And that really finally earned their trust in me and what I was doing and the business model that I was going down, the path that I was going down. So we all agreed that it was best for me to finish the semester at college, get whatever credits I needed, and after that, I would be kind of done with college. I made a little agreement with them that I would finish the semester through because just in case I needed to go back to college, to university for some reason, which I won't have to, and I know that. Just in case for my parents' safety, to keep them stress-free. I told them if this all doesn't work in a few years from now, I'll get my credits and I'll go back to college and I'll actually commit down that path. Even though it's not what I wanted. Sometimes you just gotta give them a little safety because it definitely is scary to hear that your kid wants to do something completely different, completely risky, risk everything, their entire future, just for something brand new that just came out that is not 100% going to work. So don't get angry with your parents if you're in this situation either. Always respect their authority and really know your parents. If they're going to get mad at something, just try and keep them happy while you build up yourself and money, everything in order to fully convince them that this is what you want to do and that it will work. And trust me, everything will work out. It's just a matter of time. There's no need to tell them about anything really, unless you've made something work, because most likely they're just going to try and shut you down. Holy fuck, the lighting's so loud. And same with everyone around you, same with your teachers, even your friends. If they're fully in the matrix, then there's no reason to tell them. Build yourself in the shadows and eventually you'll escape and you'll find a way out. It's just a matter of persevering, being alone for a period of time, and actually putting the fucking work in. But definitely just know your parents. If your parents aren't going to react the same way and they're actually going to respect what you want to do and respect that you have your own passion for something else and they won't try to shut you down, then be a man and tell them. I know my parents would not react the same way, but maybe your parents are different. Always just be cooperative, give them a reason to trust e-commerce, and give them some safety if they really don't trust it. And then when you can, show some proof of concept. That will change everything. You won't have to stress anymore about going to college, and you're going to be able to live the life that you truly want to live. I hope you guys can hear me because the rain is so loud. But seriously, don't stress it. Even though I went to college, I was probably meant to still go to college for a little bit because I learned through those experiences. Everything that happens to you happens for a reason. You're meant to be where you are right now and where you are going to be in the future. There's always a reason for it. You just got to stay on the positive side, look at the positive side of everything, and trust that God has your back because he does. All right, I hope you guys got something out of that. If you did, please subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.